Hi everyone, this is HM&S video number 70 and you are most welcome for it. Last video we used these three functions to get the mode for numerical data, but these functions only work for numerical data. Today we want to see how we can get the mode for non-numerical data, and I'm going to show you three methods how you can get the mode for non-numerical data. Also, I'm going to give you the advantages and the disadvantages of each of those three methods so that you know which one to choose when you're getting mode for non-numerical data. Let's switch on to Excel and we dive deeper into how to get the mode for non-numerical data. This is a brief notes about mode. You can read it if you want it, but let's scroll down and we see this example here. We're having a survey question and it goes, how good are you at using Microsoft Excel? We have three options: poor, good, and excellent. Now we have 15 respondents and these are their response. The most frequent response is going to be our mode. Now the most important thing is, how are we going to get the unique list of this response? First of all, we're going to use advanced filter to get that unique list. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight my response like this. And to go to advanced filter, you need to come to the data tab, and from the sort and filter group, here is the advanced filter. When I click, it will open for me the advanced filter dialog box. I'm going to close it. The keyboard shortcut to go to advanced filter is Alt-AQ, and it will open for you the same dialog box. Let me first scroll it here. Now it has got the list range correctly. This is the correct range because we highlighted the range we want. For the criteria, we don't want any criteria. We simply want advanced filter to give us a unique list. But I'm going to click copy to another location because I want to copy it to another location. So I'm going to come to copy to and click. I'm going to copy to cell D11, that's why D11 is put here. And most importantly, you need to check unique records only. So I'm going to check this so that it can give me only the unique list from this response here. So when I click OK, you can see it's giving me only the unique list from this response. I'm going to get the frequency of each of those responses. So I'm going to come here and type frequency, enter. Now to get the frequency, I'm going to use COUNTIFS function in Excel. So I'm going to do equals to COUNTIFS with S, tab to select it. The criteria range is going to be our responses, so I'm going to highlight the responses without highlighting the field names. Now since I'm going to copy my formula down, I'm going to hit the F4 key to lock it, comma, then the criteria is going to be our response. Click, and then I'm going to close my bracket. Now when I control enter, then I'm going to copy my formula down. So you can see from these results here, our mode is actually excellence because it's actually appearing most of the times. So I'm going to highlight this, go to home, then from the font group, I'm going to click on borders and give it all borders so that we have this one like this. Now this method that we used here, the method can work even if you don't have Office 365, even if you have the earlier version of Excel before Office 365, you can use this method here to get the mode. Now the next method that I'm going to show you actually requires you to have Office 365. So first of all, I'm going to highlight these field names, Control C to copy it, and I'm going to paste it here, Control V, so that I have the field names here. Now, I'm going to use a unique function in Excel. That unique function is actually going to give us a unique list of responses. So I'm going to do equals to unique. Now this unique function is only found in Office 365. Tab to select it. It simply needs the array. I'm going to highlight the arrays like this. And when I hit enter, it is a spilled array function. It is spilled the results down. That's why you can see when you click on this cell, the formula is there, but when you click on any cell where the results just spilled, like this one here, the formula is grayed out. Now we're going to use the same COUNTIF function here to get the frequency for each of these response. So I'm going to do equals to COUNTIFS with S, tab to select it. The criteria range is going to be this range here. Now I'm not going to lock it because I'm going to do a spilled array. So I'm going to click comma. Now for the criteria 1, instead of giving it only one criteria, I'm going to highlight the entire criteria like this. Now it's giving me G12 and this hash. This is what's called a spilled range operator. It's showing Excel that get for me everything that's spilling from cell G12. So I'm going to close my bracket. When I hit enter, you can see the results also spilled down, just like it spilled when we used the unique function to get this unique list here. Now the next method that I'm going to show you is actually my favorite method. It also works even if you don't have Office 365. This one we're going to use the pivot table. So I'm going to click on one cell on my data set. And when I go to insert, we have pivot table here. So when I click on pivot table, it will open for me this dialog box here. I'm going to create a pivot table on this existing worksheet, so I'm going to click existing worksheet. And if I scroll this little bit this side, so for the location, I want to create a pivot table on this cell here. I simply need to click OK. Now let me first drag this pivot table field list here. I'm going to come to the end. When I see this cursor, I'm going to drag it down to enlarge it. Now when you're using a pivot table, these are our field names. You can simply click the field name you want and drag it wherever you want. You can drag it to the row, you can drag it to the column, or you can drag it to the value. Now I want to create a unique list of the response in rows. So I'm going to click on response and drag it to rows. So when I release it, you can see I'm getting a unique list of response here. I'm going to click the same response and drop it on the value. Now guess what? Since these are text values, when I drop it, it will default to count, and that's exactly what we want. So I'm going to close the pivot table field list. Click. Now the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to change the name of this pivot table. So I'm going to come to the pivot table analyze. Then from the pivot table group, here is the pivot table name. It's currently saying pivot table 1, but that's actually not the name I want. So I'm going to click and change it to PV for pivot table, and then I'm going to do mod. So when I hit enter, so that's now the name of this pivot table. Again, this one is saying row level. That's actually not a good name. So I'm going to go to the design tab. Then from the layout group, I'm going to click on report layout. When I click, you can display your pivot table using any of this format, but I'm going to show in tabular form. So I'm going to click on show in tabular form. And immediately I do that, you can see it's now picking the name, that is response. But this one is still count of response. So I'm going to click and simply type frequency and hit enter to change it. Now you can see we use 3 different ways to get the mod, and all those 3 methods is telling us that the mod is excellent, 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 because it's appearing most of the times. That's 7 times. Now this is actually something very important. What will happen if the source data changes? So I'm going to come to respondent 7 and click. Instead of excellent, I'm going to change it to good. Now I want you to see what will happen if I hit enter. Remember, here we use a formula. Here we also use a formula, but this is actually a pivot table. Now, when I come here and hit enter, of course, here we use the COUNTIFS function, and here also we use the COUNTIFS function. Functions and formulas actually updates immediately when the source data changes, but guess what? The pivot table did not. So for pivot table, when the source data changes, you need to refresh it in order for it to get the updates. So if you want to refresh it, you need to come to it, click, and then you right click, come to refresh. When you click refresh, you can see immediately it also get the updates. So if you choose to use the pivot table method, you need to be very careful when the source data change. You must go and refresh the pivot table in order for it to get the updates. So that's actually the disadvantage of using the pivot table method. The advantage of using the formula is that it updates immediately when the source data changes. Now again, let's make one more change and we see what will happen. If I come to this first respondent and instead of good, I'm going to change it to very good. I want you to see again what will happen. Now remember, very good was actually not part of our response. But what will happen to our unique list here if I hit enter? So I'm going to hit enter. Now you can see the source data has changed. This one here, we use the unique function to get the unique list. That's why it updated immediately. The source data changes. And you can see it's now getting our very good plus even the count of very good. But guess what? Even the one we use the advanced filter to get the unique list did not update. But before I show you what to do with the unique list got by advanced filter, let's first refresh the pivot table. So I'm going to click on this, right click, come to refresh, and you can see it also got the update. Now for advanced filter, when you come here and then you try to right click, there's actually no refresh here. You cannot refresh it just like that. Also when you come to data, there's this refresh all. This one can also be used to refresh the pivot table, but if you click it, I'm going to click, it still cannot refresh the advanced filter. When you use the advanced filter to get your unique list, and then maybe the source data changes later on, in order for it to get the updates, you need to run the advanced filter again. So I'm going to come here from the data tab, sort and filter group, and then click on advanced filter to run the advanced filter again. You can see it opens for me the advanced filter dialog box. I'm going to close it. The keyboard shortcut is Alt-AQ, and it opens for me the same dialog box. It got the list range correctly. I simply need to come to copy to another location, and then I'm going to come to copy to, and I want to copy it to cell D11, which is this particular cell here. And very importantly, check unique records only. So when I click OK, you can see this time around it's now getting for us our very good, and also the count of 1. So our formula here was actually simply a COUNTIF function, so it cannot get down. We need to copy it down. So I'm going to Control Enter, and then I'm going to copy this formula down here so that you can get even this one. So in summary, you can use the unique function and then the COUNTIF function if you want your results to update immediately when the source data changes, or you can use the pivot table if you simply need to refresh it when your source data changes, or you can use the advanced filter method here if you are sure you can run the advanced filter each and every time the source data changes. Yeah, that is it for this particular video. If you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe, and if you found this video interesting, give it a like and then you share it with your friends. This is a video where we talked about how to get the mod for numerical data. You can click on it, then you go and watch it. Until next video, HM&S video number 71, then we meet again. Thank you.